Week off, how have you enjoyed it? What's the team been up to?
Yeah, 3 days off. We gave them Friday to Sunday off. Obviously, it wasn't planned or ideal. We would love to be in the Challenge Cup final, but boys come back this week. You can see that they're refreshed and energised and ready to go this week.
Do you get a chance to watch the final?
I did. I watched the second half. I was avoiding it, then I watched it. Couldn't help myself. So, no, I ended up watching it. It was obviously a massive event, Challenge Cup final. So, I used to watch it when I was over in Australia. Obviously, to be part of it last year was special, and there was two very good teams going at it. So
that's good because I only managed to watch the first half. So between us, we've got the full game in our brains. I know you're a footy head, as you call it. Was there anything that you picked up from the final, anything that you were taking away from either of those teams' performances?
Oh, I think it just highlights where Wigan's at. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's no secret to why they're so successful at the moment. Is that they've built a unbelievable culture there over many years, and obviously Matt Pete's put his stamp on it. They kept the game nice and simple and had a plan and just stuck to it and executed it. And you can see in the big games that they don't go too far away from playing a simple style, but it's very, very effective and it's how you win big games. So they've just nailed that and everyone knows their role.
How's the team shaping up ahead of this week then, fitness-wise?
Yeah, we're looking okay. So Joe Bird just ended up going for just a scrape out on his knee, so he won't be available this week. Other than that, we're okay. I think everyone's back on track. Oliver Gildart most likely will be after the international break now. So other than that, we're not too bad.
I know you like to approach it very much one game at a time, but it's a bit of a weird one having these two games and then another break. Are you approaching this as a 2-week block?
Oh, look, we had a 4-week block that we looked at, but you break it down. You need to break it down to each game. So the most important game for us this week is obviously Huddersfield. So we don't want to get too far ahead. We know that we've got, we can take a breath, so to speak, in a couple of weeks' time, but that breath won't be taken until Thursday, 10:30 after we play Castleford. But certainly Friday's the main focus for us, and we need to get back on defending the way that we did against Lee. I was really, really pleased with our performance against Lee, especially defensively. They turned up to play, and we played against a very good attacking team. So we need to define that again this week and be consistent with that.
Because it's all about carrying that momentum of a good performance on. How is adding that extra week between these two games a test of your ability to carry that momentum over from what was a very good defensive display?
Yeah, I think it just starts with how you roll back into training, and the players are certainly came back with, as I said before, fully energised, and there's a real spring to their step, and then it's what you do at training. We like to train at a certain level, and there's no doubt that the players did that today. So we going by their actions tells me that they're going to be ready for Friday and put in another strong performance. So, for us now, it's just staying consistent with those levels that we want to be at, especially defensively. How do you get that? Well, you get that, by doing it every day at training, and we got that today.
Of course, 3 clean sheets already after the league game. Is number 4 very much a goal and ambition for this week? Another nil on the board?
Oh, look, you strive every week. That's something that we pride ourselves on, but they're very difficult to get. I mean, especially against a team like Huddersfield who are moving the ball and have their own style this year of the way they attack. It's as I said, something that we pride ourselves in is defence. The 0 is obviously off the back of what we do for 80 minutes, and that's working hard for each other. We've got our systems that we need to stick to, but it's effort and attitude at the end of the day that helps you, achieve zeros, and we've done it a couple of times over the past, or a few times over the past year or 2 years. So it's something that we do pride ourselves on. But overall, defensively is our number one sort of key focus area.
Huddersfield are a very unpredictable team in how they're going to perform. I think with Connor and Luluwai, you never know what sort of game they're going to have. How does that factor into your preparation in how you prepare yourself to defend against a team where you might not necessarily know what they're going to chuck at you?
Yeah, I mean, the way they attack, they're pretty structured in terms of their framework and the way they attack. But obviously, off the back of that, they've got individuals, as you say, that you can't plan for because they are the off the cuff sort of players off the back of that framework. So we've got, and you need to look at yourselves. How can we control what's thrown at us, and that stick to our systems? And as I said, keep working hard for each other and not take a breath defensively, because you can't afford to do that against Lola Hears and Connors and guys like that. So we, as I said, we know. We've got a fair idea in terms of what they'll throw at us, but individuals, then you need to be ready for kicks. Play three. Sometimes they don't know, and I say this respectfully, but players like that don't know what they're doing. So we just need to keep working, keep moving, because we've got players like that as well, and Mikey Lewis. So he'll cause a few headaches to their defence as well.
Yeah, because I guess they're playing on instinct, are they? They don't necessarily know what they're going to do till the field opens up in front of them and something pops into their brain. So it's a very hard thing to structure.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's instinct. They have feel. So they end up having a reason for why they do things. But, it might be the last second that they find, okay, yeah, it kicks on here, or throwing the long ball, or whatever it may be. They'll go out of that structure because, as I said before, they are a pretty structured team, Huddersfield, but then they're the individual to take them out of that structure, which is the guys that we mentioned before. So, we need to just, as I say, we keep moving, not take a breath, and our effort and attitude will determine sort of how far we go into closing them down.
Is it about limiting their options to have that spark of creativity then, and making sure that they are their creative players are firmly shut down in what's presented to them, basically?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can shut players down, and there's going to be times there that we're not going to be able to. So, you play against those sort of players we mentioned for this weekend, your Bevan Frenches, your Fields, your Dufties and your Williams and players like that. You can have a plan in place. Obviously, the first plan is to win the ruck, but at some stage you're going to lose the ruck, and at some stage you're going to be on the back foot. And that's where these type of players, and again I mentioned, we've got one as well in Mikey Lewis. That's when they'll want to step up and get the ball in their hands. So there'll be stages in the game that will be under the pump. There's no doubt. But again, we know how to handle that, and we can certainly have some control in minimising the effect that they have.
Huddersfield winning their first game, I think 6 before the break. Are they slightly below where you'd expect them to be at this stage in the season?
No, it's a very tight competition. I mean, as we spoke about before, we've got 2 games before the international break, and teams win the next 2 games, and it puts you on a different level of where we're at the moment. So there's no doubt we've got a lot of respect for Huddersfield. I think Ian Watson's a very good coach, and you can see that they're detailed in what they do, but we always look at what we can control, and I know what we've got in our dressing room, and we've seen that the last couple of weeks in the performances against London, and then a gritty, tough performance against a good league team. So we as I say, well, I do speak about it a lot, but we get our end right, then puts us in a good position.
This is the first time we've spoke to you since the announcement that Tom Davies is going to be joining Ulcal for 2025. Just a couple of words on what he'll bring to the team and why you wanted him here at Craven Park.
Yeah, I think he's going to bring a personality. There's no doubt about that. Getting to know Tom, speaking to him over the phone, and as I say, getting to know what he's all about. He's a personality. He's a character. He's high energy. He's a positive guy. And I want to bring players like that into the environment. So that's probably the number one before what we see on the field that I was, that sort of captured me into bringing Tom in. And then we know, he's a try scorer, he's a finisher, and he's doing a great job over there for the Catalans. So, but I think what he's going to bring to us is high energy. He's going to bring a personality, and I'm looking forward to seeing that when he gets over here next year.
And something he was keen to play down when I spoke to him last week, but he also brings a decent level of experience in very big, high-stakes games as well. Surely that's a useful addition to the squad too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're obviously losing Ryan Hall, who gives us so much experience, and obviously his career speaks for itself in terms of what he's achieved. So bringing in someone like Tom that's played in big games, and he plays for a big club at the moment. Obviously, learning good systems and what they do over there. So he'll bring that to us, and I know that he's ambitious to want to win some silverware. But he's obviously at Catalans at the moment and doing a really good job for them.
And final one from me as well. Passing of Rob Burrow last week. Have you just got a few words to say on him and his impact on the sport?
Yeah, massive, absolutely massive. He was a little warrior, wasn't he? Like, he did all us little men proud. He was the one, mate, that if you think about little guys and in the game, you go straight to Rob Burrow. Years ago, it was guys like Alan Langer, but worldwide now, everyone would be thinking about Rob Burrow. How tough he was and courageous, and he fought to the end. There's a lot of staff and players that played with Rob, and we've obviously they're shattered, and the legacy he will leave in the game. But I think across the world, in terms of what he was all about as a person, his legacy will live on forever. So and it's beautiful to see his close mates and what Kev's done, and there's so many of his close friends that have obviously impacted their lives. But Rob's going to be missed, but he'll never be forgotten. He's certainly a guy that's impacted many, many people across the world, and I just send my thoughts and condolences to his family.
Thank you, Willie. I'll leave it there, and good luck with this weekend.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Willie, how you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Not bad. I'm just interested to get your thoughts on the NRL market from a recruitment perspective, because there's quite a bit going around at the minute about players coming, across the competition. You'll know some of these guys, Jaden Sullivan, David Armstrong. Seems like there's a lot of talk that it's hard to get players over, but it seems like some pretty good players are going to be coming to the competition next year.
Yeah, there certainly is. I mean, we're not active at the moment, so obviously we've done most of our business, which about, with Jared coming over, but getting Jared obviously is a massive coup for Super League, I think, and not I think, I know, and for us as a club, and then certainly some of the younger guys that you spoke about before that are potentially coming over is great for the game. So, it's. There's no doubt our competition is getting stronger, and you can see how competitive it is. Games like the weekend where Challenge Cups getting shown all around the world. There's no doubt. Well, I know the NRL community and fan base and players, they all watch the game and take note of our games over here, especially those bigger ones. And players, they want to be part of it. They know what the crowds are like here. They know how fanatical they are, and as much as I'm from over Australia, the crowds are totally different, and just provides a different experience and atmosphere, and there's no doubt that players want to be part of that. So I think you'll find that you'll get players that will come over, that will your Brad Schneider type players that will come over. And for me, be able to control a team and be able to run a team, it'd be good to see some more younger halves do that. And there's quite a few, Jackson Hastings, there's a number of them that have done it and proven. If you come over here, you have some life experience, grow up in a sense, in terms of off the field, but then be able to run a team on the field. As I said, Brad's a perfect example of that. Then goes back to Penrith, and he's then playing alongside Cleary or going in for a Nathan Cleary certainly helps. So. Hopefully we get more and more over here. I lost you, mate.
Sorry, I muted myself by mistake. Would you recommend a move to Super League for guys like that? For your Brad Schneiders, for your Jacksons, and someone like a Jaden Sullivan, who's, for whatever reason, it seems like he's fallen our favour at West. There are examples of it revitalising, rejuvenating careers. Is it a good place for players to come and do that, do you think?
I absolutely do. There's no doubt. I think if I was coaching in the NRL and you had someone that was possibly too good for reserve grade there and not quite up to NRL standard, for them to come over their next progression, because I'm big on that. I'm big on progressions, and I think over here For us, it's the Championship is our next best level, and then you've obviously got reserves, then you've got League One. So if you play League One and you excel at that, then you go to reserves. You show that you can excel at that. Then your next level's Championship, and then your next level's Super League. I think it's the same sort of principle with what I'm talking about. If you go over and you've got a player that dominates, say Brad Schneider last year was going well in New South Wales Cup, and then the opportunity came for him to come over here. He played in the Challenge Cup final. He played one game away from a Super League grand final. We won two games in a row. One semi-final of a Challenge Cup and an important game against Leeds with kicking field goals. The life experience and the game experience that he got has enabled him now to be able to go back and go to a club like Penrith and further develop himself there. At the moment he's behind Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary, but there's no doubt that I believe Brad will be able to go into an NRL side and run the team, or he comes back here and plays over here, whatever he wants to do for his career. So for me, I think if you're not quite ready for NRL and then you're too good for that sort of New South Wales Cup level, to come over here for a year or two, if it was suitable for clubs over here, if it's suitable for the player, and a club in the NRL that might say, okay, go over it for a year and learn your trade over there and then come back. Look, I think you'll see some clubs possibly doing that. I'd certainly look at doing that if I thought that there was a certain player that would only because I know, I've lived here. I did it 20 years ago myself. Me personally, I probably should have stayed here for a lot longer when I did it. But that's a long time ago. I'm talking about these recent players, Jackson Hastings and guys like that. Like Jackson will be the first person to say that, he needed to get away. He needed to sort of to mature off the field, and he certainly has done that. And then he's gone back and he was at the Tigers. He won game for the Tigers. He ended up going to Newcastle and got a healthy deal up there. So he's done exceptionally well. And down the track, I'm sure Jacko would want to probably come back here because I think once you come here, you realise it's a great game to be part of. It's different to the NRL, but it suits a lot of players. And for halfbacks, as I said, it's that next progression from New South Wales Cup. And we, the gap's closing. It certainly is closing. I mean, Wigan's shown that when they've played in the last couple of Challenge Cup, World Club Challenges in St Helens last year, winning over there. So, our better teams over here are certainly closing that gap.
That'll do me. Cheers, Willie.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey, Willie.
Hey, James. Good, mate. You?
Yeah, good, thank you. It's the halfway mark of the season this week, and what do you need to improve on in the second half of the season to get to where you want to get to?
I think the big one, mate, is consistency, and it's consistency around our defence, like making sure that we and I've said it before, but our best and worst, and I'll break it down to. Mainly our defence is not far off. You're going to have tries scored against you. You're going to lose games throughout the season, but it's always how that happens, how they scored, or how have you lost that game. We want to judge ourselves on performances. And for me, as I said, that Lee game for me, that performance was a KR performance. It was gritty. It was tough. So I want to see more of that. Because I know if we see consistent performances like that, then we'll put ourselves in a really positive position the back end of the year. We're halfway through the season after this week. We're in a quite a strong position at the moment, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So for me, it's mainly around being consistent with our defence, because I know what's in this group, mate. I know there's a group there that works hard every day, and they want to be playing in big games.
Yeah, you mentioned your position in the table there. You're only 2 points off the top. Is the League Leaders Shield a realistic goal?
Oh, it's the end goal in terms of end of what is it? How many rounds we've got? 26, whatever it is. So we're in 24. We're in a position that we can obviously achieve that, but there's a long way to go. So we break it down. Obviously to what we do at training, but each week we've got our KPIs. So if we meet those and we consistently play with the same attitude and grit that we played against Lee, then we'll put ourselves in a position at the back end. But we're certainly, we know what's obviously Wigan and St Helens and the teams above us at the moment, how they're playing and the levels that they can get to as well. So we just need a narrow focus of worrying about us. But of course, mate, you want to chase any trophy. There's 2 trophies there to be got, after the Challenge Cup, now that the Challenge Cup's gone. So we want to, we're in a position that we can we can achieve both if we put our mind to it. Not saying, when I say achieve both, there's still 2 trophies to be had, so we need to go after those.